Visual arguments. To understand how visual images can produce an argument, you need to understand the design elements that work together to create a visual text. Use of type. Type includes the digital or physical characters like letters, numbers, and symbols that make up the visual text. Variations in type such as size, boldface, italics, or all caps can direct a reader's attention to an argument's structure and highlight main points. There are three main typefaces or fonts: serif fonts, sans serif fonts, and specialty fonts. Use of type fonts. Serif fonts like Time New Roman, Courier New, and Bookman Old Style have small extensions on the letters, which make it easy to read them. Serif font is good for long documents and the main verbal body of the document. Sans serif font like Arial and Century Gothic do not have the extensions on the letters. They can be tiring to read for long stretches. Sans serif fonts are good for display types such as headings, titles, and slogans. Specialty fonts like Zap Chancery and Onyx MT are difficult to read for long stretches. However, they are effective when used sparingly for playful and decorative effects. Type can also be formulated using boldface, italics, underlining, or shading for emphasis. For display types such as headings, titles, and slogans, use sans serif or specialty fonts. For the body or longer passages, use serif fonts. Make type functional and appealing by using only 2 or 3 styles per document. Use consistent patterns of type, style, size, and format. Besides the general principles, rhetorical considerations of genre and audience expectations should govern decisions about type. Second component of visual design is layout. Pay attention to the proportion of text to the white empty space, to proportion of text to images and graphics, arrangement of the text on the page, space, margin, size, etc. Use of highlighting elements such as bulleted lists, tables, and sidebars. Use of headings and other means of breaking text into visual elements. Choose a layout that avoids clutter and confusion by limiting how much text and how many visual items you put on a page. Use layout and spacing to indicate the importance of items. Top and center are positions that readily draw readers' attention. For example, to understand the persuasive power of type and layout, let us analyze Figure 1. Figure 1 shows an anti-bullying ad by Public Affairs. This ad demonstrates how use of type can create powerful visual and verbal rhetorical effects to convey its argument. The ad's creator chose to use lettering, not an image, to illustrate bullying. The type, style, and font used in this figure make strong appeals of pathos through the blend of shocking abusive language and disturbing lettering style. The blurring of the message in the large bold type makes a visual statement about the act of bullying and about both perception and psychological damage. These large, heavy, blurred letters convey multiple messages. The blurring of these letters suggests that bullying harmfully washes out the personhood of victims. In addition, the ad makes it look as though these dark letters have smudged and stained the yellow background, suggesting that bullying harms the social environment. The layout of this ad also contributes to the logos and ethos of the ad. The shock of reading the bold message propels readers to the black sidebar in the lower right side of the ad, where the message in smaller type interprets and explains the message of the blurred letters. The text speaks directly to parents' unawareness of the hostility of their kids' environment and makes an urgent appeal to parental responsibility. While the lettering and layout convey the causal reasons behind the need for action, the message in the smaller letters states the proposal claim. In addition to delivering a strong message, this ad conveys a positive ethos by demonstrating knowledge of the problem and directing readers to authoritative sources of information that will help in engaging with the serious social issue. Understanding how to analyze visual arguments will help you create strong visual arguments of your own. And if you decide not to create your own visual but to use work by others, this will help you make effective choices. Use of color. Third important element of visual design is use of color, which can contribute significantly to the visual appeal of an argument and move readers emotionally and imaginatively. Usually, bright colors are used to show positivity and dull colors are used to show negativity. Make sure your color choices do not overpower the message and all information is readable. Use of images and graphics. The fourth design element includes images and graphics, which can powerfully condense information into striking and memorable visuals. Major point to keep in mind when using images is that few simple images may be more powerful than complicated and numerous images. Consider how you intend an image to work in your argument and how you will establish the relationship between the image or graphic and the verbal text. Guidelines to creating visual arguments. Determine where this visual argument is going to appear. In your case, it will be shared on the discussion board within your composition course. Determine who your target audience is. What values and background knowledge of your issue can you assume your audience has? What specifically do you want your audience to think or do after reading your visual argument? If you are promoting a specific course of action, how can you make that request clear and direct? Determine what claim and reasons will form the core of your argument. What visual design and layout will grab your audience's attention and be persuasive? How can font size and styles, layout, and color be used in this argument to create a strong impression? If your argument leads itself to images, what pictures or drawings would support your claim or have emotional appeals? What image would be memorable and meaningful to your audience? Using information graphics in arguments. Beside images in the form of photographs and drawings, writers often use quantitative graphics to support argument using numbers. These visuals, such as tables, pie charts, and line or bar graphs, can have great rhetorical power by making numbers tell a story at a glance. Sometimes tables with numeric representations can pour excessive information within dense columns of numbers. To focus on a key story and make it powerfully immediate, you can create a graph. For example, This table shows brain and other nervous system invasive cancer incidence rate by age, race, and ethnicity in the United States. While this is informative data, if we present the same information in a graph, it will create a more alarming and lasting effect. Graphs and charts can help tell visual stories. As soon as we look at this figure, the blue bars grab our attention. We do not have to tally numbers. The visual representation helps make clear distinctions. Bar graphs help readers make quick comparisons. However, bar graphs have some limitations. If we try to put too much information within the visual, the graph can get busy and confusing. If we go back to the table, you will see that the age range is from 25 to 84 years. But although the bar graph here already looks crowded, we were only able to fit in age groups from 50 to 84 years. Another vivid kind of graph is a pie chart or circle graph, which depicts different percentages of a total in the form of slices. Pie charts are a favorite way of depicting the way parts of a whole are divided up. However, the effectiveness of a pie chart diminishes as you add more slices. In most cases, you'll begin to confuse readers if you include more than 5 or 6 slices. The downside of a pie chart is that it can only show one set of numbers. So we cannot compare age groups and race in one chart like we did in a bar graph. We will have to do either age or race. What I have done here is I narrowed the information down to 60 to 64 age group and compared the number of cases with each race. Pie charts are more effective when they are used as a visual representation of smaller groups displaying only one set of numbers. To compare multiple data sets, it is best to use bar charts or line graphs. Another powerful quantitative graphic is a line graph, which converts numerical data into a series of points on a grid and connects them to create flat, rising, or falling lines. Line graphs allow you to display a large range of numeric values without cluttering the visual. Here you can notice that the age range is all the way from 25 to 84, and the visual does not look too busy. Other important elements of creating graphics include designing graphics. To make it clear what the graph is telling, make sure you clarify what's represented on the two axes. Keep the graphic as uncluttered and simple as possible and design it so that it reinforces the point you are making. Numbering, labeling, and titling the graphic. Graphics should always be labeled, numbered, titled, and referred to directly in the text. By convention, tables are listed as tables, whereas line graphs, bar graphs, pie charts, or other kinds of drawings or photographs are labeled as figures. If you have multiple tables or figures, number them, for example, figure 1, figure 2, and so on. Add a comprehensive title that explains fully what information is being displayed. A typical title will identify the information on both the horizontal and vertical axes and the years covered. Referencing the graphic in your text. The graphic should be understandable without the text, and the text should be understandable without the graphic. the text should reinforce the most important information in the graphic. Always give credit to the source you gathered the numeric data from. Source citation is usually placed immediately followed by the graphic. For example, you can refer back to the graphics I shared within this lecture. Properly created visual graphics make it easy to formulate conclusions. For example, by looking at the visual representation of data collected from Centers of Disease Control and Prevention website, we can conclude that the white race has highest number of cases of brain cancer as compared to the other races, and Hispanics have the second highest number of cases. Another conclusion we can draw is that chances of getting brain cancer increases with age. Comparing all four visuals in one slide, we can see how visual representations make it easy to interpret data as compared to comprehensive tables. The type of chart or graph you will use will depend on the amount of information you need to share and the effect you are trying to create. This slide can also be used as an example of what not to do. Never make your slides or visuals too busy. Your goal should be to simplify and make matters easy for your audience to follow.